And it looks like Council Lady Evans, Council Lady Murphy, Councilman Rutherford, Council Lady Sepulveda, Councilman Sledge, Council Lady Stiles, Councilman Pulley is all present. Council Lady Lee and Councilman Rosenberg are absent. We do have a quorum. We have three resolutions, and I'm going to do that on a consent agenda. RS 2026-22. Johnston is the sponsor, approves the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. Can I get a motion? Perfect, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or objections to any of the notaries public? All right, I'm gonna wait for a vote because this is on consent. RS 2026-27, Druffel, Evans, and others recognizes Sister Sandra Smithson for her contributions to Nashville and the state of Tennessee. Can I get a motion? Perfect. Do we have any discussion, questions? And we do have Evans as sponsor here, so perfect. RS 2026-28, sponsor Murphy, recognizes Christy Wilson and the Wilson Group Real Estate Services. Do we have any, can I get a motion? Perfect. Any questions, comments? All right, so I'm moving the consent agenda. Can, all in favor? Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. We have a couple of late items. We have three of them actually. The first one, I'm lead sponsor. It's a resolution amending RS 2025-15 and 516 to increase the individual grant amounts for eligible live music venues that receive federal CARES funds and to transfer $1 million in CARES funds designated for live music venues to CARES funds designated for small businesses. This is an emergency because of the need for an expeditious movement of funds in order to help these small businesses. Is there any objection to this late filed? One objection. The next resolution is a resolution accepting the recommendations of the COVID-19 Financial Oversight Committee to distribute $2 million in CARES Act funds from the COVID-19 Pandemic Fund, $399 to provide grants to nonprofit arts organizations. Same thing here is that the need for these funds to be distributed expeditiously. So there is an emergency type nature there. Does anybody object to that? Thank you. The next, actually, I went out of order, I'm sorry. The other one is a resolution accepting the recommendations of the COVID-19 Financial Oversight Committee to distribute $500,000 in CARES Act funds from the COVID-19 Pandemic Fund, $399 to Pathway Lending to provide rent relief to vendors of the Nashville Farmers Market. Again, emergency need. Does anybody object to this late filed motion? All right, that has been noted. All right, bills on second reading. 2020-495. I'm the sponsor, readopts the code of the Metro government prepared by Municipal Code Corporation, including supplemental and replacement pages thereof containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before June 10th, 2020. Can I get a motion? Perfect. I am going to let Ms. Hannah speak to this bill.
Sure, this is a routine adoption of basically an update to the Muni Code, Municipal Code Corporation website. So everything that's on the website will be updated through June 10th, 2020.
Are there any questions, comments, concerns? All right, all in favor? Any against? Any not voting? Ooh, Mr. Rosenberg is here. Present. Perfect. Okay, on to elections and confirmations. The first reappointment that we have is for the Agricultural Extension Board. It's the reappointment of Mr. Mark Kursky for a term expiring August 1st, 2023. Hi. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate your willingness to serve. Just want to give you a couple minutes to let the committee know why you're interested in serving in this capacity.
Sure. was under Carl Jean's administration. And I was very excited to become a board member during that time because of Mayor Dean's philosophy that he wanted Nashville to be one of the greenest cities in the South. And I was really excited with that, and made a lot of progress. Still have a lot of ways to go, but there is progress, and I'm very excited to be a part of that. And we operate a business downtown Nashville at the Farmers Market, Gardens of Babylon, and we've done our part, and they've done a great job down there, and really changed the market around. And I think I could bring a lot of experience from a business to the board. Currently, I'm chairman of the Ag Extension. And I think one of the things that really influenced me on accepting this other position was, it's been a hell of a year, hasn't it? You know? And I think the one thing that has scared me most of all, I guess when I was watching television during the onset of the COVID, was there was a lot of families that were suffering. A lot of suffering with food, trying to organize food to these families that were hurting. So one of my goals as a board member is to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So we might be able to look forward and say, how can we provide food? Because, you know, Tennessee is agriculture. That's one of our largest forms of income. So I just want to kind of be a wheel in the cog that can help kind of get some ideas put together. That way, if there's another outbreak like this again, that families aren't hurting. We can move food to the families. When I saw milk just being dumped out, I thought, how many families could really use that milk? Right. So I think that's what my big goal is next year, to really putting forward in front of the board to come up with ideas like this and put some plans together and work with other agencies as well too, not just Davidson County, but this needs to be county-wide all through the state of Tennessee.
Thank you for that. I think Council Lady Murphy has a question.
Yes, thank you. I won't go into my full soapbox that I know you've heard before and I gave pretty extensively last time, but I have a lot of concerns about our Davidson County FFAs and 4-Hers and their ability to compete at the same level that other counties do across the state. And if we are losing our state fair or it chooses to leave us, either way, our students are not getting the same level of competition. And it's not just teaching them animal husbandry or sustainability. It truly is teaching them to be great public servants and how to speak in public and speak in competitions and things like that. I mean, they're really wonderful programs that I wish I had been exposed to as a child. And so as chair, I really hope that y'all are starting to and have been engaging in some sort of strategic plan of moving forward. What does that look like? How do we carry on and have a Davidson County fair if we don't have a state fair here? I have felt that we needed to have both so that our students have that competition level and can really be more challenged and more prepared. And I hope it's something that over the next couple of years, we as council members will be more engaged with. And so I guess my challenge is to you is that y'all start strategically planning what does that look like and how can we engage not just like all like the more rural districts, but even where I am in District 24 in West Nashville, there's a lot of opportunity and I think a lot of families that would like to be engaged in that but aren't aware of it. So please use us, and also please as a board and as a chair, start that plan and engage us in helping you do that.
That's a great idea. That's a wonderful idea. In fact, I'd love to speak with you again about this, to be able to bring that up to the board. I know the FFA is very important to the ag, and it's been a bit of a challenge because of the kids not being able to be in school, and that was the easiest way to reach those children. And now with everything being disjointed, I think that throws a little monkey wrench into that. But I definitely agree that FFA is, and over the years, what I've heard is that the attendance has been increasing, so that's a definitely positive as far as that goes. But I like your ideas, and I'll definitely pass it on to the rest of the board members.
Thank you, and please engage us.
Sure.
You know, they have a great presence at the state legislature, and every time I see them on the Hill, I just feel like our students and our children are getting left behind in a great opportunity.
I think you're right.
Adults, we need to step up and fix that. So thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Mr. Kursky? Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Good, yeah.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to take all of this on consent, but I do want to ask, are there any objections to this reappointment? Perfect. Thank you so much for coming in with us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is Community Corrections Advisory Board, the reappointment of Ms. Donna Grayer for a term expiring August 31st, 2022. Ms. Grayer, hi. Can you just come up to the chair so we can hear you? Perfect. I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to introduce yourself and tell us why you'd like to serve or continue to serve in this capacity.
And presently, I'm in private practice and in counseling. And I have worked in mental health, substance abuse, criminal behavior most of my life, like maybe 20, 30 years. I've served on the board, I think it's the third time, and it's been very rewarding and interesting. At this point, I really have enjoyed learning more about the things that we do in the community. One of my goals is to be an advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves, especially when it comes to working with folks who have a past criminal history, substance abuse, who cannot obtain housing, economical needs. It's really important for them to obtain those things, because if you don't have appropriate housing and finances, it's difficult to manage, especially housing. And that is a very difficult thing in our community right now, to afford housing. So if you go to jail, you go through a beautiful program like the correctional program, you get out, you have nowhere to go. So that is a big challenge. That's a challenge I'm ready to work with.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Grayer? All right. Are there any objections to this reappointment? Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in to be with us tonight. I appreciate you being willing to continue to serve. Next up is Gas Mechanical Examiners Appeals Board, the appointment of Mr. Michael Porter for a term expiring August 21 of 2024. Mr. Porter, hi. If you'll just introduce yourself and let us know why you are wanting to serve on this board.
Thank you. I will. My name is Michael Porter. If you consent, that this will be my second time to serve on this board. So one of the reasons I would like to be a part is I have experience. I actually am a mechanical inspector, previous mechanical inspector. I grew up a contractor, so I know what well-installed mechanical systems look like. And also for the preservation of life and property, I'd like to see that take place, because a poorly installed mechanical system, whether it be a home or a commercial building, can lead to loss of life and severe property damage. So I think to preserve our city and the value it brings to whoever wants to move here and remain here, I think we should comply with the law. And by the way, the mechanical code is the law, and it must be adhered to and ruled properly. And so yes, these are some of the reasons I would like to take part again.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Porter? I appreciate what you do. My husband's a general contractor, and so we deal with inspectors, or he deals with inspectors a lot. Thankfully, it's not me. But I appreciate the work that you do. It's definitely a public safety issue for sure. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? No? Any objections to this appointment? Perfect. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. Okay, we have an election tonight. It is tonight, correct? We're doing this tonight? Yes, perfect. Okay, the Health and Education Facilities Board. We have 3 candidates, Ms. Kanitha Carr, Ms. Malika Clinkscales, and Mr. Robert Perry. I do think that one of these candidates we're gonna have to do virtually because they have been quarantined, I believe. So do we have, is he aware that we're gonna be calling?
He's aware.
Okay. He'll be last in line because he's last anyway, but I just want to make sure you're kind of like in the queue. Okay, the first person let's hear from is Ms. Kanitha Carr. Hi, just come take a seat. And I'm hoping I'm saying your name correctly as well? Yes. Perfect.
Kanitha Carr.
Awesome.
Yes.
If you can, we have your questionnaire and all of the 3 questions of do you live in Davidson County, blah, blah, blah. All those have been, so I'm not going to reiterate those. But I did want to give you a couple of minutes to explain why you are the best candidate for this board.
Well, I would like to say first that I always have a heart for service. And being a native Nashvilleian, I've been here, moved here. My mother was a professor at Fisk University. And once she got her job, we moved here when I was about 6 years old, a while ago. And so I've been through school all of these years, went through college at Fisk University, and then I've just stayed here, developed with my family, got married here, and have really put my roots down in Nashville. One of the things for myself, even that I was a teacher with Metro Schools. I was also an executive director and presently executive director of our Performing Arts Academy and also chief operating officer of Infinity Fellowship Center. One of the things that I always think about with Nashville is the balance. I love Nashville. I have my roots here. It's not a trend for me. I love Nashville. And when I look at the board and knowing that it's about the maintenance and promotion of healthy living conditions and facilities that provide that as well, I think it's necessary to have some balance on a board as this one. And so I would like to be of service. I would like to be able to bring a unique aspect to it with my being connected with Nashville and seeing the many things. I'm also a founder and PTO president of Warner Arts Magnet School. We've done tremendous things there. And so I like to see that. I like to see that there's opportunities that get to all people of Nashville, that we're seeing about what is needed to improve them, their living conditions, nursing homes, just all of those many things. I just feel like I would give a unique voice to that. So.
Perfect. Councilman Pulley.
Yes, thank you for those comments.
Yes.
Very impressive. I just wanted to, I'm just curious, help me understand what you mean when you say you want to be balanced. I'm just curious to know what you're balancing.
Well, for myself with balance, I think that there's always 2 sides to a coin. And sometimes if you have people who are steered into just looking at things in one way or looking at it in another way, and you don't have someone that can see all the many perspectives and then come to a good conclusion of what is the best, coming from all perspectives instead of having like one side that they're thinking about or another side that they're thinking about, that they have the balance. And so that's what I think about it for myself, that I'm able to look at all the many perspectives, look at what project is before us, really dive into it, see what it is trying to do, and then make a conscious decision from there. So,
Thank you for that.
yes, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Carr? All right, Seeing none, we will move on. Thank you so much for coming in to be with us tonight.
All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, Ms. Malika Clinkscales.
Hey, Ms. Mayor, I'm going to put you through to the chair who will speak to you. Just bear with me for a second.
How are you tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. All right, just a few minutes to let us know why you feel you're the best candidate for this board.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I think I was thinking through this a lot today, and you have my resume, you have the things that I've said, so I wanted to share something that would be different. And I think that at the core, I'm a problem solver. I love looking at issues. I love looking at things that sometimes are daunting, sometimes things that are complex, and turning it on its head and evaluating it. I like working with people. I like raising questions. I can tell you I'm the person at the table who will ask 1,000 questions just to keep turning over the issue, to make sure that we're evaluating something comprehensively. In terms of my background, I moved to Nashville 20 years ago to attend Meharry Medical College. My career took a pivot. That's a whole nother story. We don't have enough time for me to go into that one. But at my core, I've always loved health, understanding what makes people thrive, the ability to understand wellness. Later in my career, I was able to study the sociology of health and really understand social determinants and understand that health happens everywhere, and it's not just what happens in a clinical setting, but what are some of the social issues regarding education, regarding income, regarding access to healthcare, regarding environmental toxins, and how do you take that information and situate it with some of the everyday issues that are going on? At my core, I think I'm a coach, I'm a strategist, and being able to take my understanding of health, education, and business, bring them all together, and then really be an advocate for those issues amongst a team of people. It feels like the right place and opportunity for me to give back to the city of Nashville at this time of my life.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Clinkscales?
Yes, Chair. So you said let's problem solve. What drew you to this position? What's the problem that you would like to?
I think the understanding of wellness and the understanding of how to improve the different conditions within the city, that to me within itself of being able to understand the conditions of these different facilities, what are the underlying issues, not just the surface issues, but really digging into some of the underlying issues to understand how the root problems that got these different entities to this place. To me, that's something that would be very engaging, that I would want to spend time working on.
Any other questions? Perfect. Thank you so much for coming in to be with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, do we have Mr. Perry on the phone? Are we FaceTiming or are we just calling? Okay, speakerphone. I like to FaceTime. Mr. Perry, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Am I coming through okay?
I think so. Is everybody able to hear him through speaker? Okay, perfect. Yes, we can hear you. So thank you so much for being willing to serve. And we just wanted to give you a couple of minutes to explain why you were the best candidate for the Health and Educational Facilities Board. So you have the floor.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And I definitely appreciate this accommodation. Kind of unexpected news, but better safe than sorry. So my background in relation to the Health and Education Facilities Board is I've served on it for 6 years. I currently serve as the vice chair, and I don't know if I position myself as the best candidate because I do not know the other people that are have also been nominated. But I think that as a Nashville native, as a father of 3, an attorney, a business person, that everything that I really am is in large part directly related to the city of Nashville and the nonprofit community that has played and made such an immeasurable difference in the course of the city over the past couple hundred years. I've enjoyed my time on the board mostly because it is a very straightforward place for nonprofits to outline typically the project that they are pursuing, the underwriting of the transaction itself, the legal work that governs the transaction, the standing of the nonprofit, whether or not that nonprofit has standing to be in front of our board. All of those items are ironed out prior to the nonprofit presenting before us. I think that the qualitative aspects of the project, the mission of the nonprofit, and the leadership of the nonprofit, those are the stories that I really believe that our board is very privileged to be a part of. So, sorry to be so brief. Also, I apologize again for being over the phone, but I think that would really sum it all up for me.
Perfect, thank you. So Council Lady Murphy has a question for you.
I actually don't particularly have a question. I just wanted to kind of give a little testimonial that I have known Mr. Perry for a long time indirectly through mutual friends, and think very highly of him and the work that he's done. And I think he's done an excellent job on this board, and that I wholeheartedly support his reappointment, especially given the leadership position that he has stepped up to, and the commitment to Nashville given his young family is truly a testament to his character and continuing to serve. So,
perfect. Did you hear all that?
Yes. I really appreciate it. It does warm my heart, because I know that there's a nonprofit that my in-laws founded. It's actually Abe, my father-in-law's father, passed away. It will be 14 years ago this Friday, I think. And so, but Abe's Garden has been a more than a passion project for my wife's family, and myself included. And Councilmember Murphy has been such an integral part of their mission, and so it means a lot to hear that. I genuinely appreciate it.
Perfect. Are there any other questions or comments for Mr. Perry? All right. Well, thank you so much, all three of you, for being willing to serve, and we wish you all three the best of luck tonight. I'm going to hand the phone back over. Thank you so much for being able to be with us virtually.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I think all of these are on consent. I didn't hear any objection to any of the reappointments, appointments, or those that are up for election. So can I get a motion to move? Awesome. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect. And that concludes our committee meeting. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh! 2020. Just kidding. Everybody's like running out. Sorry. Okay, we do have a proposed rules change by Councilman Rutherford. He's moving to amend the 2019 through 2023 Metropolitan Council Rules of Procedure by amending Rule 2 as follows: by renaming the Personnel, Public Information, and Human Relations Standing Committee as the, quote, Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Veterans Standing Committee. Can I get a motion? Perfect. You have the floor, Councilman Rutherford.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I think this is the right thing to do, essentially, to recognize our veterans. We are a significant military and veteran town. We have a large veteran population, and we have just recently expanded our Veteran Service Office for Metro. Those folks fall underneath the Personnel Committee. Anything that would be veteran-related would come before the Personnel Committee, which I chair. And so it just makes sense to me and the timing is good too, because we're right before Veterans Day, to add veterans to the title of the committee. It's more than, I don't want to say it's symbolism, it's more than symbolism, but it shows the community that we as a council care about our veterans, because we have a committee specifically designated by looking at the title that's where veterans, would be cared for. Any legislation would go before that committee, and I think it's just appropriate that we take this action. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Now we are adjourned. Thank you. Sorry.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.